Everyone. This is Harish from EC department in SR8 Junior College, Anathapur. I would like to share nuclear health in environmental science. This nuclear health, understanding radiation risks, environmental impacts, and global mitigation strategies. Session 1 Fundamentals and Sources. Understanding ionization energy, radionuclides, and the pathways through which nuclear hazards are organized. Types of radiation: ionization versus non ionization. Penetration capabilities. Non-ionization. Radio waves and microwaves lack sufficient energy to ditch electrons from atoms. Ionization energy. High energy emissions alpha, beta, gamma capable for stripping electrons from atoms, creating high creative ions that damage biological cells and living tissues. Penetration capabilities. Alpha. Heavy particles stopped paper or human skin, but severely hazards of held or ingested. Beta. Lighter particles penetrating skins shielded by aluminum sheets, gamma or X-rays. High energy electromagnetic waves requiring dense leads to thick constraint barriers. Primary source of hazards: nuclear energy, fuel cycle, uranium mining, milling enrichment, fuel element production, and power plant fission generator, radioactive efficiency, and hazards operational wastages. Radioactive wastage storage. Spent nuclear fuel element and hydrated reactor equipment remain hazards for tens of thousands years, requiring ultra secure long-term contaminated medical and industrial uses. Uncontrolled disable or misapplication of medical radiotherapy isotopes. Example: cobalt 60. And industrial radiometry sources poses localized radiation explore risk. Biological and health effects. Impacts of human organisms. Acute explores. High short-term dust causes acute radiation syndrome ARS. Skin burns, nausea, bone marrow failure, and rapid systematic tissue collapse. Somatic damage. Cardiogenic effects including leukemia, thyroid cancer, and high disaffection caused by cellular DNA mutation. Genetic effects: ionizing radiation breaks DNA strands, including hereditary mutants, and can passes down through the generations. Can you see the diagram for biological and health effects? Session 2 Disaster and Case Studies. Examining landmark nuclear incidents, lesson learned, and systematic safety improvements. Major nuclear incidents. These are four types. We discussing in 1979 Three Mile Island, and 1986 Chernobyl, 2011 Fukushima, and modern era. The particle core meltdown in USC due to mechanical failure and operator error prompted overhaul of reactor safety regulations. Another 1986 Chernobyl, catastrophic stem and explosion of graphite fire in Ukraine, releasing massive radiation active fallout across exposed INES level 7 disaster. 2011 Fukushima, major tsunami disabled cooling power of Idelachi, leading to triple meltdown and widespread marine radiation monitoring. Modern era. Implementation of passive cooling design and reinforced contaminated dumps and global real-time radiation monitoring grids. Environmental consequences. Ecosystem contamination. You can see the figure. The largest of the can release wastes of pollution. Radiation active fulminate dissipates long-lived isotopes like cesium-137 and strontium-90 into soil, river, and atmosphere, creating long-time explosion zones. Bioaccumulation contracts radionucleus up to food chain, damaging agricultural yields, forest flora, and marine ecosystems for decades. In last decade, 10 years of the Environmental changes. Radiation exposure levels, natural annual dose, full body CT scan, annual worker limited, lethal dose. You can see the up to you can see the 4 lethal dose is 4000 MSV and annual work limit is 50.55 MSV. Full body CT scan 10.0 MSV. Natural annual day 2.4 MSV. Dose units measured in millisieverts MSV, while natural background radiation exposed in harmless. Short temper exposure above 1000 MSV causes actual sickness and 4000 MSV provides 4 in 50 of untreated cases. Radio Radioactive waste two types. Low level wastage LLV, high level wastage HLW, spent to fuel cooling. Consists of protective clothing tools and filters with short lived radioactivity safely stored in near surfaces facilities. High level HLW, spent nuclear fuel emitting intense radiation and heating requires permanent dissolval in a deep globalization. Respondent is spent fuel cooling. Spent fuel are kept submerged in water pools of fierce to cool thermally before transfer into the dry storage sacks. You can see the pictures. In the LLW, we can spend the like containers in small room. A high level means we are present in tunnels. Fuel cooling means in underground. Presentation of safety protocols, time distance shielding, defense in depth engineering, deep global repositories, international census and surveillance. Fundamental radiation protection rule minimize duration of exposures, maximum physical distance from source, and utilize stick slits and contained barriers. Multi-layered contaminated domes during passive and emergency core cooling and automated scam shutdown mechanisms. Storing high-level radioactive wastes hundreds of meters deep in stable crystalline rock formation. Example, Finland's Onkola Laboratory. Global competences and under International Atomic Energy Agency AIAEA safety codes, health screening and real-time radiation monitoring.